Proper Punters, brought to you by CrossBet. Are you ready to level up your punting game?
Welcome back to another week of Proper Punters. I couldn't make it last week as I had influenza and I was dead.
He's resurrected.
And yeah, I'm still coughing and Tom's going to have a lot of editing just getting rid of my coughing. But it was actually the last preview we did was the one where I tipped more secrets and she ran second at 30-1.
Yeah, that probably would have killed you more than the cold, I reckon.
Mate, yeah. I reckon it hurt about as much as those fevers. I thought it was home at the 100. Not often in betting where you can find a 30s pop and genuinely think it's a $3 pop.
Yeah.
And be correct in the fact that it probably was a genuine $3-4 chance in that race.
Yeah, they don't come around very often.
Nah, not when you're getting $6 a place as well. But
yeah.
Anyway, would have been nice to win. But onwards and upwards. I'm running a little bit behind schedule and I've been doing a lot of tipping throughout the week and we've had a fair bit of luck other than declared a no race today at Scone. But I'm still bewildered after seeing what happened in Queensland on the sunny coast the other week where 4 horses were late stretchings and this was a
no race.
A no race at Scone. Sorry for all of us punters that were on it. But I'm going to lean on a little bit of you. There's a couple of horses I don't mind, but we're going to do the last 5 races at Rosehill and then we'll go into our best bets. And then next week we've got Randwick and it's spring. It's just like we'll blink and it's going to be Caulfield Cup, Cox Plate, Melbourne Cup. Done.
Yeah.
We're going, where's the autumn?
Yeah. Back in Camels in the December again.
Yeah, well, fuck. But no, it's exciting. I've noticed this just in probably the last week, started to see some nicer horses. Like we backed to Lise's little sister at Hawkesbury. It's funny how you even see it through the maidens. Like they must come through, like stables must bring their good maidens and their good young horses all in at a similar prep and they all go through because you're starting, I don't know if you watch any trials, you're starting to see some nicer horses.
Yeah, I've seen a few coming back. I'm not big on trials, but yeah, I've made note of a few that have returned for the spring.
Yeah, definitely. Interesting card. How do you think the track will play? We've got the rail 7 metres, obviously 6 metres is quite dominant on pace on fence.
On speed. But no, I don't know if fence will be a big play.
You don't think so?
Yeah, not when it's at 7 because the lanes at Rosehill are sort of 4 to 6, 4 to 7. So getting past that,
you think it might not be?
Yeah, I think you want to be on speed, but I don't think you want to be sort of
necessarily there.
Rails. Yeah,
interesting.
Just going to see how it plays though. Drying track will certainly help those up on speed.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we didn't do the preview for last week anyway because that track was just diabolical. I think I turned it off after the second race and went and watched the Olympics. Let's kick off Rosehill race 6.
Yep.
We have got championship winning jockey James McDonald, favourite.
Yeah.
How's the pace look?
That's all. Above average tempo made by Khan from Monarchs Bray will want to take up control. Father's Day will want to be up there also. Look to J-Mac gets potential on speed favours from a low draw. If the fence is on and I'm wrong, then looks a good profile. But I thought it was just okay last start at Randwick. Held up slightly, got its chance, went out, I thought, to hit the line well. $2.90 doesn't interest me personally, but concede it's on top. I thought the best runs of Father's Day would be good enough to win this trial since its last failure, but has only won its races when leading, and I don't know if it'll be able to get control here, having to take a sit behind made by Khan. So I was sort of $6 that. Couldn't really find one to suggest as a bet, but I can suggest to steer clear of Matusalem, I think.
Matusalem?
Yeah, Matusalem. Probably not suited at Caulfield. Last start, the track suited on-speed horses, but a fast tempo probably suited those to sort of come into the race. Blinkers on to try and spark something, but I'm not sure that rezone form at Caulfield's good enough for this. So I was sort of double figures my market.
Okay.
Happy to take it on.
The one thing I will say is Chris Waller having a second run at 2,000 metres and blinkers on. One thing I know Waller is big in is in the way that he places horses is trying to get them down in the weights.
Yeah.
So it probably is a positive and that's maybe why it is probably being somewhat found in the market. But
Yeah, I definitely think. I just think it's got to find a couple of lengths, I think, on my stuff anyway, to put itself up there with unanimous. And Father's Day puts in a good performance.
You seem almost a little bit keen Father's Day that it could maybe do
I
something
think
there.
sort of I'll probably take $6 to be honest. If 6 is around, it's 5s currently. You're probably going to see 6s.
We'll call the boys at CrossBet and see if we can just get a little wind out
little,
for you.
little wind out for 2 seconds and then wind it back in.
Yeah, sweet. All right, let's move along to race 7. How does the pace look?
Yeah, fast tempo. I've got few that want to take up the lead. Compelling Truth, Boston Rocks, Bomberia, Munitions. First up, might want to sit off them, but has led before. So I've got a lot of speed in this race. Spring Lee comes up favourite. Won well first up last prep at Canterbury from the back when it had speed to suit. But Rachel King from gate 2 could be buried on the inside rail if they go too quick. You see it time and time again. These back markers just never get a chance to come into the race over those very fast sprint trips. They're just detached and they can never make up the ground. I'm looking to Compelling Truth. I think it should be closer to favourite over Spring Lee. I mean, the horse is just airborne. It was a dynamic win last start at Grafton. Super impressive. I was against it that day, but I was surprised at how well it won.
Just in its win that day, because I remember being like, I wanted to oppose it. It was $1.60 or something early, and I went, so much pace in this race. $1.60 is way under the odds. Definitely want to oppose
definitely.
it. But it got out to like $2.60.
Yeah, it got out.
And had I not bet into the race, I probably almost would have been on it.
Yeah.
If I got to look at that race 2 minutes before I hadn't had a bet, I'm probably backing it.
Yeah, 100%.
And the only reason I was against it somewhat small was because I backed 2 other runners in the race at the time when it was $1.60. But I don't reckon there's a horse going as good as this horse. It is just going from strength to strength to strength.
Keeps rising. I think it's a good time to bring it into town with sort of horses resuming that might be better than it, but it's got the fitness and sort of the on-pace favours. So definitely good throw at the stumps from the stable to bring it to town. I think it's a top chance.
Yeah, definitely. I think the horse is flying. No knock from me here. I do concede Spring Lee's one of those horses that flies first up.
Yeah.
But 1,000 metres. It just, if she can sit close enough.
Yeah.
And from barrier 3, there's a chance she could get a beautiful suck into the race. And I think Rachel can ride these horses quite well where she just weaves through and they do travel for her.
Yeah, she does have good balance.
She does have that very good balance. But, it's not a race I want to be diving into at this stage, but definitely interested to see how the track plays. And
for sure.
It's definitely one of the key chances.
Yep.
I thought Boston Rocks was a really good run last start also.
Yeah, I think the stable said they want to look for it to get back on dry ground.
Yeah,
where it'll show its best.
And that was a gutsy effort last start. All right, moving along to race 8.
Not as much tempo here. I didn't have an out-and-out leader here. I thought Cepheus could slide across with Nash aboard.
Yeah.
Sat outside the lead last start at Grafton where it won. Away from that, I wasn't really sure who wanted to take it up. I thought this was a very tricky race. Plenty of horses coming through the same form lines. You've got the Grafton Cup. You've got the Jojo Was a Man win last start.
It broke my heart.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't really separate them. Williamsburg creates intrigue, returns as a gelding. It's interesting that they gelded after 30 starts now as a sort of a 6-year-old or 5-year-old.
Definitely.
I didn't really have any strong opinion. Jojo Was a Man sort of got the 1-1 last start and spiked, found its best.
He definitely got the run of the race. More
absolutely.
Secrets was by far the run of the race.
Yeah.
Smaller field here, drawn better, gets to sit closer. My girl's got to be a chance here, definitely.
100%. Now you have to cop $8 instead of 30s though.
I know. It's just, and almost her, if she comes out and wins, it probably rubs salt into the wound more. But
100%.
It's a tricky one. And what do you make of a horse like Lions Roar, who's trialled well?
Yeah, for John O'Shea fresh is always a positive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's best stuff. It won a Randwick Guineas, didn't it?
Yeah, it's on its best. It's the best horse in the race.
For sure. Group 1 winner in this sort of field. If it could bob up at an each way quote, definitely. I thought Cepheus deserves some respect just with the map it's going to get. And if there's any on-pace favours, Nash out in front, he's going to give it everything and sort of try and throw it over the line.
Yeah.
I really couldn't talk you out of any runner if you were interested in one.
No, just, yeah. I don't even think I want to speak about the More Secrets race anymore.
Let's move on quickly.
Move on quickly.
Yeah.
It hurts too much.
Yeah.
Let's go through Rosehill Race 9.
Yeah, 1,300, above average tempo, much better. And Kazoo will want to take up the running, I think.
Yes.
Kazoo was a nice win last start over this track. I do note down that it was a day that was favouring on speed horses that day at Rosehill. So the win sort of was potentially flattered, I think, by the way the track was playing. Now Kazoo has to step sharply up in grade from a 78 to an 88, I believe. I was happy to oppose it just off sort of the flattering of the last start win going up in grade. I thought Contemporary raced well last start. It was unsuited sort of back on that inside on a slow tempo. Gets Nash sticking. 1,300 looks good. Yep. It was sort of the two favourites, the way I was leaning to Contemporary. Raf Attack adds intrigue, resuming as a gelding for the Gay Waterhouse stable.
Sure does.
It'll want to be up there just sort of behind the leaders. Can run a race if it's returned to better horse, I thought. But I was leaning to Contemporary in this race. What about yourself?
I've only had the brief look at the race so far, but just, definitely conceded. Contemporary's flying. I think the horse is going extremely well. Wrong part of the track, as you said, definitely a chance. I'm willing to forgive Civ Kaburka. We were both pretty horny about its trial.
Yeah.
It was a massive blower late. Look, it was something that was spec'd early in the markets a little bit, and there was obviously trial pervs were like interested. And then it was like 7s to 11s late.
Yeah.
Completely unwanted. Raced ungenerously, did a little bit wrong.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think stepping up to the 1,300 looks 100% ideal for it.
Yeah.
As it's won over 1,350, 1,400 back overseas. The fact that J-Max sticks has got to be a massive in.
Yeah, definitely.
A huge in. And the fact that it's also drawn barrier 1. I know it was a horse that raced more so on pace when it was overseas and it used to charge a little bit. They did try and restrain it last start and it didn't exactly work. I wouldn't be surprised to see it settle a lot closer and race a lot more generously. I reckon at around the $11, $12 mark, it's definitely an each way gamble for me. And it'll be interesting to see how it parades. The late May will be interesting, and then if there is any money for it.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's definitely a horse I'm interested on the day.
Yep, for sure.
A good judge taught me a long time ago, if you're ever really keen on a horse and you back a horse, you should always forgive it the one run.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be scared if I see the money for it. Given the push you've given for it.
Yeah,
I'll be looking out for it, especially if sort of the fence looks suitable. J-Mac will know where to put the horse given the pattern on the day. So if there's any money, I'll be looking out.
Yes. Now we move on to the lucky last, the good old get out stakes for race 10. What is it? We've got a big field here. What does the pace look like?
Looks like an above average tempo. Russian Ronnie can get control with Nash aboard. And then a few others will want to be up there. Looks like a dartboard sort of to finish the day, I thought, for your get out stakes. Little Contro was okay at Kensington last start, but Nash jumps off, decides to jump on the Gay Waterhouse runner.
Yep.
I couldn't get $4. I thought Silvanito, the other favourite in the market, was given every chance by J-Mac in a midway last start and loses J-Mac today, so I can't understand why it's so short. They're both taking up plenty of market percentages when they were given great rides last start. I'm looking to Russian Roni, just getting control in this race with Nash going on third up. I thought it was ready to run a peak performance, especially on an on-pace day.
Yeah.
That was kind of the way I was leaning, sort of at $6.57. What about yourself?
As I said, haven't completely finished the race in full.
Yeah.
Horses, I'm probably going to be a little bit interested. One of my old favourites, the Dramatist. His win 2 starts back over 1,200, which is what usually would be an unsuitable trip, was phenomenal.
Yep.
And his run last start was quite decent in the South Grafton Cup against Cepheus and in what's, I think, a better field than this.
Yeah.
I'd concede he'll probably be a chance at a bit of a price. The other horse I wanted to make mention of, I thought Brosnan's last run. What did you make of it up in Brisbane?
Yeah, it was good. Okay. Yeah, pass mark for sure.
Certainly a pass mark for a horse.
It's one of those races.
Big odds.
Yeah, definitely one of those races that are a bit tricky to to figure out the form line, especially when you've got horses from Brisbane, from Grafton, all coming into town.
I think it's going to be a race when I want to be playing horses at a bit of odds, and you don't have to go far to be doing it.
No,
Little Contro got the job. One thing with Little Contro, he definitely didn't handle the wet track last start, and he just got the job done. I think you'll want the track to be drawing out to be winning.
Yep.
And Silvanito, he's just becoming a bit of a seconds horse. Literally, he's just a bit of a bridesmaid.
I think they threw the stumps, like they threw everything at it last start, leading last start with J-Mac on to try and get a win out of it. And the fact that J-Mac couldn't get the win, I thought, is just a negative, like an anchor on the horse. I think it's...
The only thing I will say is I definitely think it's a better horse ridden with a sit. I don't think leading is its go. I was actually surprised that they tried to do that.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely.
Because back when it was a good Dolphin horse, it was a horse that used to really sit back and shoot.
Yeah,
and I think that's where it does its best racing. So, no, it's... Yeah. It'd be one that you could probably spec a few roughies late.
Mm-hmm.
There's one other horse here. Give me 1 sec. Up and Under. I didn't mind it. I had a quick look at its trials, and it's only had the one prep here for Waller. I noticed it's also been gelded as well. It's slightly raced. It's one that I could be a little bit interested in.
I mean, just on that profile alone, it's always one you've got to be nervous of if there's any sort of money for it or if it parades well, I think.
Definitely. I think a lot of the time with those European horses, having their second prep in Australia is also a massive positive for them.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, well, let's move on to your best bets.
Yeah, best bets for the weekend. Rosehill Race 3, Vivy. I've got plenty of question marks around other runners in the field. This runner was scratched last week after being heavily supported. J-Mac retains the ride from a soft draw. I think it can get us the chocolates. Then we'll go down to Melbourne for Flemington Race 2, Post-Impressionist. Love this win last preparation on its Australian debut. Then it backed up a week later in the Group 1 Tancred, started $2.50 on that occasion before the stable said it failed to handle the backup. I think it can have the measure of Berkshire Breeze, and I think at those odds I'd rather be on Post-Impressionist at sort of $3.80. And then we'll go to Flemington Race 6, Zarastro. It was good in Queensland. I think if it handles the straight with Jamie Carr aboard, I think it looks the one to beat.
Just the three best bets for me this Saturday. We've got Rosehill Race 4, number 11, Intervarsity. Unbeaten horse. 2 trials have been exceptional. I think finds a highly winnable race. Love that J-Mac's been booked. I think this horse just wins, goes forward. You're collecting. Move forward to race 9, number 2. Going for a bit of odds here. Sivka Burka. Want to forgive the first up run. Went back. Not a lot went right. It was a heavy blower. I think it will settle a lot closer from the gate this time, up in trip, and I reckon can give it a shake at each way odds. We then move to Newcastle, race 7, number 7, King of Thunder, first starter. Couldn't have been more impressed with this horse's last trial. Finds a highly winnable race. I think the bigger Newcastle track will suit it, and I think this horse can be winning, getting us off on a winning note for its debut. Good luck and happy punting.
What are you prepared to lose today? Set a deposit limit. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.